I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm bringing you an amazing apple crisp recipe that I'm super excited about. My parents actually went apple picking over the weekend and brought home a lot of different varieties of apples. I did end up going to the store and getting a couple Granny Smiths because they didn't bring those home and we ate a ton of the apples. But I've got a variety of apples here. I'm going to use at least 2 different kinds whenever I make apple crisps, and I suggest you guys doing the same. But check out how delicious this recipe looks. Perfect. Now that you've seen it with ice cream and caramel sauce, I know that you'll want to make it. So let's get to it. Okay, so first things first, we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees, and we are going to take a 9x13 baking dish. This is a little bit smaller than that, but something around this size or 9x13 is totally fine. And we're just going to layer a little bit of butter on the bottom of it. Easy peasy, nothing special. Just a nice little layer of butter. I'm over here at the sink. I just want to give my apples a quick rinse. I'm going with 2 Granny Smith apples, and then the rest are all sweet. So I'm just rinsing them. We're going to peel our skin off anyway, so it's not a huge deal, but just give your apples a quick rinse. Finally, it is time for the labor-intensive part. So we're going to peel our apples. So peeling apples can definitely be a little bit time-intensive, I guess. But it's fun to kind of try and, you know, just remember that this is how people used to have to do it. I think like those apple peeler things are super cool. My problem is that I have a really small kitchen. I don't know if you guys do or not, but it's just, I have to really want something and I have to use it a lot to know that I'm going to be able to fit that in. Like, that's why I haven't gotten on the Instant Pot and the air fryer trend yet, which I really do want an air fryer. So I'll probably pick one of those up pretty soon. But my kitchen is just so limited for space that I'm like, I just have to be super careful about what I buy. And I'm just using a little bowl right here just to catch all my apple peels. Whenever I go to cut the apples, it does not need to be like anything perfect. We kind of want them to be a little bit the same size just because we want them to cook evenly. But I'm just going to slice them like this. And then just like rough little chops like that. That's the best thing about apple crisp. I feel like it's just kind of like everything in a casserole dish and it's so delicious. There's not a whole bunch of rules behind it, right? It doesn't need to be fancy. It's just a fun dish that we want to create. Okay, and you can see how I've got them chopped. I'm gonna have to go with a bigger bowl because I've got 3 left still. So I'm gonna switch them to a bigger bowl. All right, now we're in business. I got a bigger bowl. Just one more thing I wanted to mention too. Just make sure like when you're peeling your apples, I always buy a couple extra for the recipe because sometimes you're peeling them and like you'll taste them and be like, you know, sometimes you get like that mealy apple. Don't put those in there. Just have an extra one in case you need to switch it out. We have officially finished peeling our apples. I'm exhausted. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. But we've got a nice little array of apples in here. Okay, so into our apple mixture, we are going to add 1/3 cup of white sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're just going to give that a good stir. And this is going to be the base of our apple crisp. Once we get that all stirred together, I'm just going to add I've just got 1/2 lemon. I'm just going to add the juice from 1/2 lemon. This is just to help it not get brown really quick on us. All right, and we're going to stir that up. Now we're going to transfer it into our casserole dish. And if you lose a little bit, that's okay, because then you'll have a snack for later. All right, so now it's time to make our topping for the apple crisp. For our topping, we have a half a cup of all-purpose flour, a quarter cup of old-fashioned oats, half cup of granulated white sugar, and half cup of brown sugar. You can use light or dark. 1 teaspoon cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and a quarter teaspoon of salt. And let's whisk it up. By this point, your kitchen is probably a giant mess, just like mine. We are almost done with the topping. We're gonna add 6 tablespoons of butter now, and we're just gonna chop it into little pieces. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just little squares like this. We're gonna mix it into our topping mixture in just a second. Okay, so time to get our fingers messy. We are gonna add our butter into our topping mixture. Oops. And we're just gonna start kind of just pinching it together. And it's gonna get in like little crumble forms. We want it to be like little pea sizes. So this is just about the texture that we're looking for. There's gonna be like lots of small little pieces. There's a couple little clumps left. Those are fine. We just want it to be somewhat like this texture. Okay, so time for our final steps. We are gonna pour our topping on top of our apples. I'm so excited. This is already smelling so good. I can't wait for it to be in the oven. My kids are gonna go crazy when they get home from school and they smell this. My dog's starting to make noises under the table. This is gonna be so good. Look at how gorgeous this looks. All right, so time for the oven. Okay, so we are gonna bake this for 40 minutes at 375. This looks amazing. It just doesn't get that much more delicious than this. Okay, so for the official taste test, this looks so yummy. It's delicious. My ice cream is melting like crazy, but it is so good. Okay, so we learned how to make apple crisp. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you try and make this recipe at home. It is so delicious, and it really is easy to make. It seems like a lot of steps, but it really is simple. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell button so whenever I post new videos, you guys will see it. I've got lots more recipes coming up, and make sure you check out my acorn squash recipe as well. Thanks so much. See you next time.